Here at Snetterton around the 300 circuit, taking that lap record away from Phil Atkinson in the previous race, and that lap record had stood for 4 years. Green flag at the back, waiting for those red lights. Lights are on, out go the lights. Lucas King knows how to hook up that Ninja, doesn't he? So he's coming from the middle of row number 2, and he's already trying to challenge your main man this weekend, Dan Bray, for the race lead, but it's going to be Dan Bray who just swoops around the outside and carries that corner speed.
I'm going to keep an eye on the MZs as they get ready to go. They're going to be going very shortly. I can see Tony McBride waiting for the control to tell him to get out of the way, which he duly does, onto the grass, and the lights get ready to go, and we're off. And once again, I tell you what, though, the 102 machine's got away very nicely indeed.
Caleb Wright,
had
a podium or two throughout the course of this weekend.
Well, he did actually win a race at Donington as well, when the first two decided they'd be better off lying on the track at the hairpin there, which surprised Caleb Wright, and came across to claim a delighted first ever win. It's highlighted in the MZ magazine, which was delivered earlier. Thank you very much indeed, as a big long string of ninjas head off up to Hamilton's for the first time. And Dan Bray predicted to be leading, but one of the juniors, he looks like he's going, that's Lucas King, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, going to be Lucas King, bike number 16, and I know that the NWR team will be watching on. I can see a few of them down there on pit wall. So Lucas King from the middle of row number 2, he's already leading the way in the juniors, and I think he may have the pace here to try and go with Dan Bray, as he's tucked in tight in the slipstream, and Dan Bray is going to be challenged for the race lead as they go down the back straight, Keith, in towards Brundles and Nelson's for the first time. As we look towards the screens here, up the inside potentially there, it looks as though Dan Bray just about held on to it through the left and right sequence over the far end of the circuit, the other side of the bridge. But it's Lucas King, bike number 16, who is leading the way in the juniors, second just behind Dan Bray on the circuit, but he's tucked in so tightly there is Lucas King. You only just see him pop out when he looks for the move.
I thought Dan Bray had a bit of a healthy lead all of a sudden, but you're right, he was tucked away very, very discreetly in the background, and he is definitely giving Dan Bray a very hard time as they make their way down the front straight. Can he use the slipstream and of course his lightweight to good advantage? Well, I think the answer could be yes. They come across the line, there's 2 or 3 bike lengths between them, but that looks like Lucas is going to pull out. Have a look, I think Dan's going to have the advantage to the outside. No, Lucas takes the lead. Lucas King into the lead, brilliant stuff. So finally the senior is getting challenged by a junior. To be fair, Dan Bray, a very rapid senior as well. So let's see what Lucas King can do here. It's Harry Barrell there in third, so Will Ram not getting off the line as sharply as he'd like, losing a couple of places, as did George Cowie. Alfie Garrett is where he started. Annabelle McCarthy makes up 2 places, comes across the line ahead of Harley Baker, Chloe Geeson, and our occasional commentator Isabel Wingate. Unfortunately, bad start for her. She's come across the line in 10th, having lost a couple of places. MZ's over the line. It's Alex Mann from Andy Wales and Chris Kemp, but again, side-by-side battle into Richie's there as well. And is that Wales on Mann?
Andy Wales up the inside of Alexander Mann. So the reigning champion of number 1, Alexander Mann, drops down to second position at the end of lap number 1 in the MZs. But in terms of the ninjas, there's a little bit of a gap there. I think that may be the number 90 machine of Barrel, who's not too far away in third position, who's but a bit of a gap has opened up between himself and the duo at the front of this race. It was half a second as they came across the line, but Harry Barrell did have 7/10 of a second advantage over William Round, and then George Cowie only 2/10 of a second away, as we've got a yellow flag down there at Richie's.
Yeah, I thought I heard some chatter on the radio. I was just waiting to see if I could hear any more, but I didn't get anything else coming at me. So.
Yellow flag just going in at Wilson's.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll see who doesn't kind of make the cut in just a moment. Just waiting, a few people a little bit tardy getting down to the screen, but that's not be all and end all kind of thing, as the fastest person in the first sector is indeed Lucas King, going a few 200ths of a second actually quicker than Dan Bray. So the battle very much at the front is between those two. Harry Barrell still showing as a good third place at the moment, as we wait for him to come back into our view. And look at this, we've got a good old 4-way scrap by the look of it this time. That is Dan Bray back out in front, or still out in front I should say. Oh no, sorry, that's the 4-way scrap behind. These two are side by side. That's Dan Bray, Lucas King, Not working the slipstream this time. Now, is he biding his time? Is he trying to pace himself? I don't think so. I'm not sure why he wasn't tucked right in there, but they come across the line separated by 0.090. 2:16.014 is the opening bid from King as the fastest lap. Harry Barrel still in third. No changes, in fact, in the top dozen or so as Bray, King, Barrel, Round, Cowie, Garrett, McCarthy, Baker, Gleeson, Wingate, Everton, Bainborough all come across the line. I'm going to watch and wait and see if there's any change when they make their way back to their site at Agostini's. As they come down the short chute, there's no change. That is still Bray from King. A few of the back marking ninjas across the line there. Here come the MZs then. That's going to be another close battle. No, it's not. It's Alex Mann. He really knows how to turn it on in the first couple of laps, and he's broken the back already of Andy Wales. Chris Kent in third. Caleb Wright 3/4 of a second behind him. Then it's Gordon Ryan, also waiting for McCormack, and Fisher and Boyette, who blew up yesterday, of course. Ninja action down the back straight. We're going to be picking up some times. We lost the 176 machine of Boyette. Is that a timing glitch? Yeah, maybe not. Actually, maybe we lost Boyette and Fisher, actually.
There was a yellow flag.
Yeah, I think that's what that's all about. Yep, no, it's the MZs. Okay. No, there we go. That's one of them over there. That's Fisher, so it is Boyette we've lost, unfortunately. So, timing screen tells us that the fastest person down the back there in the first sector this time is Alfie Garrett. All of a sudden, he's gone a few tenths of a second quicker than the leader, Dan Bray, who still holds on to the lead, but only by a few tenths of a second ahead of the very rapid Lucas King. Here they come round corners once again, the leading pair. Oh, King going very wide. I think he's lost a few bike lengths. Let's see what he can make up. Looks like starting to consolidate themselves in third place. I think that's a bit of a change, isn't it? We'll wait and get confirmation on the screen. Always hard to tell. There's a lot of green down there. Towards the line then comes Dan Bray. Lucas King, this time he's following in his footsteps. 0.3 of a second is your gap. Another fastest lap there, this time from Bray, a 14.993. Not quite as good as his previous lap record, but what do you got there, mate?
Yeah, four-way fight. That's the battle of the girls and Harley Baker. So it's McCarthy, Baker, Wingate and Gleeson. In fact, Isabel Wingate found a way through on Chloe Gleeson on that previous lap and led her by only 9/100ths of a second across the line. But fastest lap of the race goes to Dan Bray, 2-minute 14.993. And it's a 2-minute 14.242 that he did earlier on for the lap record.
And Harry Barrel is the loser on that lap, unfortunately dropping 3 places as Round, Cowie and Garrett all go past him there. So
yeah, Harry did a 2-minute 21 compared to his fastest ever 2:16.
And that's a big old wobble somewhere, unfortunately, for him, losing a whole chunk of time there. Once you've lost it, you can't really make it back in any great sort of hurry either. There goes the fastest MZ, starting to catch up with the slower Ninja riders. That's Alex Mann, now 2 3/4 seconds ahead of Andy Wales. Chris Kent and Caleb Wright still continuing their good battle, separated by 0.2 of a second. This time it's in favour of Caleb Wright as well, with Gordon Ryan a little bit further back. Ninja battle is onto the back straight, so the streaming games begin. Bray and King will be well involved in that battle, with Round, Cowie, Garrett as well. Barrel unfortunately losing that much time. He's going to almost fall back into the clutches of Annabelle McCarthy if he's not careful. She was a little bit further back. She's got her hands full with Baker and Wingate, and also Gleeson very close indeed. Ollie Everett's a little bit further back, starting to have a bit of a lonely race, but well ahead of Ewan Bainborough as well. So the leaders already through. Fastest sector time there. Sector 1 going the way of second place man Lucas King by 0.3 of a second. So he's definitely not giving up on this one, mate. And in fact, Lucas, I'm going to say he's not just giving up on it. He's also found his way past. So well done. Now, can Lucas hold on to it and reassert the dominance of the juniors over the seniors? Well, Dan Bray's pulling out very nicely indeed. He's must have got much better drive. They're pretty much side by side, but it is advantage Bray this time by 0.059. Lucas can't outbreak him. Then comes that next gaggle of Round, Cowie and Garrett. And let's see, King, fastest lap, personal best for him, 2:15. And 2:15.4 that time for Bray. So no great advantage there. Disappear off, running out of laps as ever. 3 laps to go in this particular race. So not much time left on the board to get it right, or of course get it wrong.
Dan Bray is, as you said there, Keith, as he came across the line back in front of Lucas King and has held on to it for the first 4 corners of lap 5. And there is Harry Barrell just playing chase to the group in front of him. They're already around Agostini's, and it is that looks to be William Round ahead of George Cowie and Alfie Garrett. But of course, Alfie Garrett will be the man with the biggest advantage when they go down the back straight with a 2-bike slipstream, unless he tries to challenge up the inside into Oggies, which I thought he was going to do for a second there.
It certainly looked like he was pulling out for a bit of a pass there, and he looks like he's trying to tuck it underneath there. He's not waiting until he can get the slipstream, he's waiting until he can get past. We'll wait and see. Will he pick up the double? Will he manage to go slingshot himself from 5th up to 3rd place? We'll wait and see. Certainly out in front, it is still advantage Bray, and in fact Bray's gone quite a bit quicker than Lucas King. Lucas not had a good time. They lost 7/10 of a second, so there must have been a bit of a wobble somewhere for the youngster. Guys behind him are going a little bit slower, so he's not lost that 2nd place.
I think it may be one of the MZs that could well be coming into it here, Keith, of course.
Yeah, of course, we forget the backmarker effect, particularly when there's a split class, of course. So, yeah, it definitely didn't work out well if it was indeed the case for him, because all of a sudden the close battle that he had is now going to go separate right out. It was pretty much side by side across the line last time, 0.06 of a second. This time, however, there goes Bray across the line to complete lap 5, 2:14.5. So that's a very good lap time for him, but a 2:17.7 from his rival, who now drops to 3.2 seconds back. Round, Cowie and Garrett, I'm surprised to see them actually come across the line in that order, mate. I thought there might be a bit of a change there. Barrell is still in that 6th place. He will be ruining that mistake there. Annabelle McCarthy is still a reasonable amount behind him, but she's got Harley Baker for close company. Isabel Wingate also very much in that battle as well, and she of course wants to be top rider, not just top girl, but she'll settle for top girl at the moment. She's got Everts, who goes past on Gleason, so Chloe not going as quick as she normally does there, a 2:20 for her. She's lost a couple of seconds, so it must have been a bit of a wobble somewhere. Bit of a chatter on the radio there, mate. I'll just pick that up.
Yeah, as the MZs make their way around the far end of the circuit, Alexander Mann all on his lonesome as he comes around Corums, and across the line last time around he had a 5.3 second advantage over Andy Wales on bike number 85. So it's Alexander Mann from Andy Wales in the MZs. And then some way back there is close stuff between Caleb Wright and Chris Kent on the bike number 102 and number 96 as Alexander Mann comes across the line now. Ninja leaders already going down the back straight. In fact, Dan Bray, 2:14.517 on that previous lap. He pulled out an advantage of 3.2 seconds as Chris Kent has put some daylight between himself and the number 102 of Caleb Wright. Just looking for Eggington. There goes Eggington on bike number 53. 12th of the juniors in the Ninjas is the number 53 machine of Lucas Eggington. Fastest in the first sector for the 112 of Dan Bray. And I'm not sure if we've got a bit of a timing glitch there for the number 16 of Lucas King, who's showing he's not going into the second.
I hope that's the case. Yeah, we can't confirm that. I'm not hearing anything on the radio, and he's should have gone through the timing sector there. Not. No, last lap flag going out. It's the only thing I've heard on the radio lately. Normally if there's an incident with one of the riders, particularly the younger riders, we do tend to hear about that quite quickly. So
2:14.2 exactly, and that's a new lap record for Dan Bray again.
Boy, Dan Bray, brilliant stuff from him. And Lucas King now dropping down the order there, mate. So I wonder if there is an issue for the youngster.
And what that means is that if Lucas King's out of the race on the penultimate lap, then that three-way battle is not for second in the juniors, but it is for the race win. And George Cowie has never had a race win in the juniors, so we could be looking at 3 first-time winners in as many races.
That would be absolutely brilliant, though obviously William Round would like to make it a triple set of wins for himself. We'll wait and see, but yeah, they will. If something has happened to King, the youngsters would have seen it and realised exactly who it is, because they all know each other very well indeed, as indeed do most riders, of course. That's a great effort from Dan Bray, though, to set the lap record all on his own there without any great battle going on, no slipstream advantage either. So William Round is They're on the last lap now, of course, so they're making their way down towards the got some back markers or what's shuffling out there, mate. There's three of them down there. That's the battle for the lead round Cowie and Garrett, isn't it?
Alfie Garrett is trying to get the cut back there. William Round on the outside and just about holds on to it, but we'll watch them as they come around Williams and onto the Bentley straight for the final time as Alexander Mann goes past to start his final lap in the MZ. But that looks to be William Round ahead of Alfie Garrett, and George Cowie right there in third position. Of course, George Cowie has had a podium so far this weekend. He's had a 5th, a 4th and a 3rd, but he'd love either a 2nd or could he even get onto the top step.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but William Round is proving to be quite a quick rider this weekend. He really is. He can have serious bragging rights over Dad if he can chuck 3 gold medals on the dashboard for that drive home. Let's wait and see with the youngsters got anything. Here comes Bray then making his way round Coram, so we're waiting for that 3-way battle, and it is indeed a 3-way battle. They are almost side by side as they come round Coram for the last time. Are we going to see a suicide squeeze down the inside? No, nobody's quite close enough. They're all trying to hedge their bets and punch out of the last corner. I think that Garrett who's taken over the front running on the little red bike there, I think. Yeah, they're side by side. Here we go, up to the line.
It's Will Round who's going to get it there, King.
Well done, Will. The 2 guys, so you think they have a bit of a disadvantage, but he gets that frame onto that bike very nicely indeed. So William Round, 3rd race win for him, ahead of Alfie Garrett by 0.135. Cowie misses out by less than 1/4 of a second, I'm afraid. Harry Bell over the line there in 4th, a long way back. Annabelle McCarthy takes 6th place ahead of Harley Baker. Then it's Ollie Everts, Isabel Wingate, Chloe Gleeson, and the rest of the field over the line. We'll wait for the MZs to come and join us. Obviously, there are